The detective said missing kids usually come home. What happens when they don't?
Based on a true story.
Police looking for John Gacy.
We discovered bodies. By the looks of it, they're younger men.
The things he did to those kids. He's sick.
The system failed these families.
Devil in Disguise, John Wayne Gacy. Streaming now, only on Peacock.
Do you know how many there are?
Up to you to find out.
The family that vacations together stays together. At least, that was the plan. Except now, the dastardly desk clerk is saying he can't confirm your connecting rooms.
Wait, what?
That's right, ma'am. You have rooms 201 and 709.
No, we cannot be 5 floors away from our kids.
The doors have double locks. They'll be fine.
When you want connecting rooms confirmed before you arrive, it matters where you stay.
Welcome to Hilton. I see your connecting rooms are already confirmed.
Hilton, for the stay.
Welcome to Why We Roll,
a tabletop role-playing game design podcast by the Stillfleet Studio.
We're your hosts, Chris Pickett, creator of the historical fantasy game Danse Macabre,
and Wythe Marshall, creator of the political sci-fi game Stillfleet.
Through the show, we hope to amplify new creative voices.
We chat with different indie TTRPG designers, talking through a range of questions that are pertinent to many designers, players, and GMs.
We hope to showcase fresh and even challenging ideas about what makes imagination-based games so powerful.
Before we introduce today's guest, a reminder. If you enjoy this episode, please consider supporting the show and all of our games over at patreon.com/Stillfleet.
Okay, let's find out why we roll. Hey, what's up, everybody? It is Why We Roll, the tabletop role-playing game chat show from Stillfleet Studio. As always, I am one of your hosts, Chris Pickett, and I'm joined, as always, by my good friend and co-host,
Wythe Marshall.
Yeah, that was a perfect tee-up. No notes on my own tee-up. Very excited tonight. Very excited tonight. We are joined by Rachel Kordell and Casey Reardon of the TTRPG actual play show RP Jesters. How's it going, guys?
It's going great.
Pretty grand.
Yeah.
We're chatting. I'm so excited to talk.
Chat on a 90-degree, 100%
It's so
humidity
hot.
day.
It's so hot,
baby.
but it's fine. Being locked in the closet is helping at this point.
Casey coming to you live from our closet
from
that
the
we
closet.
keep him in?
Yep.
At all times.
They give me air holes every once in a while.
Is that the GM closet?
We do need to get a new drill. Yeah.
It was, and then it just became, it doesn't swap. It's always just me. We get a new air hole every time we get a 5-star review, so help me out.
Oh, great. Okay, yeah. So please like and rate not only RP Jesters, but Why We Roll, but especially RP Jesters, so Casey can breathe.
So I don't die.
His life is on the line,
it's like
dear
a
listener.
Buy this magazine or I'll shoot this dog cover kind of.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, basically. That. Oh my god, yeah. How long ago did that bit start, Casey? We've been doing this show since our first episode was June 2021.
Yep.
And we kind of just started with Casey, because Casey was in the closet recording, and we're just like, Casey can't leave.
Yep. Not allowed
Casey's
to
never
leave.
left.
Been there for 3 years. Well, why don't you tell us? So the show is called RP Jesters, right?
Yes, it is.
Making some actual play in the greater New York City area. And we have a fun, exciting announcement. So not only are we going to talk about your cool actual play, but some of the new upcoming exciting actual play, which I'll let Chris or one of y'all say. Chris, should we ask the traditional first question that we always ask everyone?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's always a solid way to start out.
Good starting point is the start.
Yeah. Any good starting point is the start. Well, actually, there's a few different starting points. We could we could ask about the beginnings of RP Jesters, but what we usually kind of start with is how did the two of you kind of individually get into role-playing games? What's your history with it? And, how did that lead you to the creative process of creating a wonderful AP for people to listen to?
We have a very similar story to each other because we started around the same time.
exactly
You go first.
Well, okay. I mean, I guess it kind of started with, like, Casey and I both went to college together, and we were friends. But specifically, we went to Hofstra University in Long Island, and I was on the Quidditch team. And, already bookmarked that. I was on the Quidditch team, and our collective first DM asked me and one of our other friends, Dawn, like, hey, do you want to play D&D? And we're like, yes. So, like, then we started getting the band together, and it was like me, Dawn, Casey, and a couple other people started our first party. And eventually Sky got into it, who's another one of our cast members. Although Sky had played before that, but yeah, we started 10 plus years ago. 2013.
This would have been 2013. Yeah, so 12 years ago.
Oof. But yeah, that was like our first D&D game that went for like a year and
somewhere around there.
And then we had a different campaign with like the friend group shifted, more people, less people, blah blah blah. But yeah, we've been playing for the first time. You want to talk about our first characters, Casey?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, so my first character was
collectively,
incredibly uncreative. I was playing a ranger named Oliver Queen, so it was at the time that Arrow was coming out, and
sure, yeah.
big oof. My second character was much better than that, but very very uncreative with that.
Well, see, at least your character was like, an archetype, like a cool, my character, on the other hand, I cringe at so much, was a elf, character named Avalon, who at the, ripe young age of 100 years old left her non-magical elf community to see the world and learn to be a sorcerer.
I mean,
so they're both classic tropes.
Yeah, they're both classic tropes. There's nothing wrong. I really do think, especially for first characters and things like that, there's nothing wrong with like leaning into your influences, right? Like we all do it anyway, whether we're playing, GMing, writing the games. It's all going to come through somehow. So maybe it's cringy, but I don't think it's too bad.
But a non-magical elf at 100 years old.
That's like,
how are you a non-magical elf, too? Yeah.
I know, but like after 100 years, like, you know what? I'm going to go see the world.
I will say huge props as well to RGM from that game and from many games that we played with him as well. His name is Zach. Shout out to Zach. But, he was somebody who could easily take those characters and make them into something that was more original based off of the situations that they get put in and everything like that. And I think that really speaks to a very good DM.
Yeah.
And this was back in 3.5 as well.
Well, that's something I want to ask y'all about is taking these tropes, because you've done a lot of different stories. So maybe this is one segue into RP Jesters and some of the stories you've told. But, you can take any trope and like reinvent it. Like if you've ever read one of the comics called The Batman, and then you read one by a different guy, it's like they're almost different Batmen. It's like they have the same exact backstory. It's these parallel dimension things. And I think there's a fun, Pierre Menard tries to write the Quixote, having never read the Quixote element to RPGs, where like every time you play an Elven Ranger, you're like, this time it's going to be the most archetypal. Like I'm not going to be Legolas, but I'm also somehow going to be this dead on like archetype. So since you guys play sort of shorter campaigns with different games all the time in different genres, you've gone through many iterations of like classic tropes, but found a way to like make them all unique and bring, I think it's a good show from what I've heard. It's very good.
Yeah. Thank you.
So maybe that is to what Chris was bringing up before. Like, how did you go from, okay, we like playing games together to we want to make a podcast and do it, at a very high level and put out a lot of content. It feels like just scrolling. I was like, man, y'all have a lot of crap.
Once a week, if not more on our Patreon as well.
Yeah, we've definitely expanded. Actually, like you were just kind of saying about like the archetypes and kind of like taking a character and like redeveloping them. That's basically kind of how, like, that leads directly into how we started, because I was doing like I'm a Twitch streamer. I stream on Twitch as Majora's Rose, and I've been doing it since 2018 now. And I just was like, I want to stream a D&D game. So I got Casey on, and I got a couple of other friends together, and I was like, why don't we, like, I want a consistent game. I want to stream it. Like, let's do this. And we did a game for 3 years, as that. And, the character that I played in that game, Triss, was basically like a copy paste of Avalon, but do it better this time, because I wanted this character that like left home to like go on an adventure. So like the very, like the core of Avalon's trope. And yeah, that led into our first, like, you know, technical actual play game.
Yeah.
Because at the time it didn't feel like an actual play, because it was just like, you know, me and my buddies playing a game, just doing a Twitch stream. But yeah, and then after 3 years, Casey,
that campaign ended because it was reaching its natural course anyway.
It did.
I think
we had a final boss fight.
There was a final boss fight.
Mm-hmm.
I think, Rachel, you were the one who approached me about turning it into a podcast, or did I?
No, it was you.
Did
that was your buddy.
Okay.
That was your idea. Yeah, you came to me, and because I was like, I was like, why? Sure, I love to. But yeah, it was your idea. You were talking about it for like a couple of weeks, I think, or like even a month. You're like, yeah, guys, like I kind of want to do like a thing. Like I want to go with this. And then when it ended, you came to me and said, do you want to co-produce? And I was like, yes. Why? What does this mean? I don't know.
And we figured it out together.
Let's cast our friends. Let's go. But yeah.
I think a part of that too was us wanting to try different games, because we had said like we wanted it to, as an excuse, I guess, to explore different RPGs and things like that, because the two of us had only really played D&D. I think I played like one session of Pathfinder. So we started our main campaign with D&D, but then in between our seasons, we would play like other games. And then that kind of ended up devolving into like, all right, well, once that D&D game ended, we were kind of done with D&D at that point. We're like, all right, we're just going to focus on other games that we find more interesting.
Yeah, we kind of cast a net with D&D, because everyone was doing D&D, and we're like, we'll catch them and then bring them into the other worlds with us. Not really knowing that at the same time, so did like 300 other podcasts at the same time.
COVID.
LOL COVID.
Yeah.
I mean, I completely forgot what I was going to say.
That's cool. Well,
yeah, COVID.
Well, so that's how you got started, but you've done a bunch of stuff. But maybe walk us through. I think it'd be interesting to hear your process. You talked about a little. You kind of alluded to a process involving tropes and genres. And I know when we first talked about doing some kind of to be announced in this episode game, that what would make a good sort of story and how long it would be and all these things. So maybe walk us through generally how do you select games, and that would be probably a good time to give some examples of some seasons that stand out. Or we know that you have done D&D-ish things, but you've also done, like, I just listened to Hench, which was really fun and really funny.
Yeah. Wearing my Hench
is great.
Hench is great. So, any way you want to take that, but just kind of walk us through your process, maybe tell us a little about something, you know what I mean?
So in terms of like game selection, it can vary depending on the GM and like what their actual plan is. Sometimes it's a matter of like finding a game that you want to explore and figuring out the story that you want to tell within that system. And then sometimes it's more like, I have this story I want to tell. I'm going to spend weeks searching for the right game that is going to fit this story. And with our current game, Blood on the Reeds, the GM that we have for that game, Sky, I know he spent a decent amount of time looking for a system before we landed on Old Gods of Appalachia for it, because I think he was deciding between a couple different ones. Same goes for Hench. Like, I was trying to find a superhero game that I thought would work with that idea that I had of people playing henchmen. And I had initially was looking for something where like maybe the players would be a little less powerful, but then it just became you know what, it's funnier if they are very powerful. So yeah, I think like figuring out what story you want to tell and then just research. I've gone on Reddit before looking for specific systems that people suggest. I've posted on like different, you know, Facebook groups and things like that, trying to figure out what people like for that kind of story. Because people are always going to have opinions, but sometimes it's helpful to like, you know, see what people are interested in, and then you also might gain an audience from that too.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, especially like, I've only GM'd a couple of things. The last thing that I GM'd was Echoes of the Menagerie, and in that one we played a game. We played a system called Sagas, which is a newer system, like developed in the last like several years, but like only came out in the last like couple of years. And I actually met the developer playtesting another game. And then just kind of like as like RP Jesters kind of like got more connected to like the TTRPG community, we found each other again, and I was like, I want to play your game. I want to run this. So it's kind of like there's a little bit of like researching, but then also like I think there's a little bit of like community there too. Like if you meet someone who developed a game, kind of like how, you know, we have come together, having the fact that we have this show that can be a platform to like, you know, elevate and display like newer systems, like that's what's so cool. Like we've gone to conventions and stuff like that, and we've talked to game developers there and like bought their games with the intention of putting on the shows, because that's what's so cool about this community, is that like there are so many different stories to tell, and there's so many different ways to tell those stories, and it's so homebrew and open source that there's an unlimited amount of stories and systems to choose from. It's cool like that.
Well, so what are some ones you chose?
Some other systems we've chosen?
Yeah, you mentioned Sagas.
Which is ones that we locked in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can kind of run down most of them at this point. So we have, we started with D&D, then we went to...
Pull up the website.
Yeah, pull up the website.
Yeah. Do you have like
it all listed on our website?
You have like a Sondheim-esque rap where you try to remember all the seasons and all the characters.
Would be we should make a poker rap. I think that would be fun.
This, I'm just gonna use your chat to post a link.
Please use the chat.
So, yeah, we started with D&D. We've gone to Monster of the Week. We've done Risus. We did that for one of our Christmas specials. Vampire the Masquerade was one of our big ones. We did a whole series called the Spaghetti Zone, where we just did a bunch of 2-shots with 3 different systems, all with the same characters in different worlds, and only one of them knew what was going on, that they were transitioning between worlds. We played Clean Streets, Fistful of Darkness, and Kids on Brooms for that one. We've done Scum and Villainy, Delta Green, Hell Knight, and Sagas, Icons, and now Old Gods of Appalachia.
Sick.
Very nice.
And
we've also done Dread.
We did do Dread. We did that for a live stream. I forgot about that. And we've done The Stars Are Dead for our live show.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
Yeah, you've really done a lot. That's really a nice breadth. Yeah, sorry, Chris.
Yeah. Well, I was going to ask, to dig in a little bit more specifically, so you're kind of approaching from a narrative first perspective where you're like, okay, we have the story that we want to tell. In the systems that you do end up choosing out of the myriad ones that you have chosen, are you specifically looking at mechanics? Are you looking at like play loop or story loop? Like what is it? Is there like a kind of like thread that ties it together? Or is it just kind of really dependent on the vibe that you're going for?
I think sometimes mechanics plays a role in it. Like for Icons specifically, one of the things that I liked playing with was the random element of character creation, where you're rolling for the powers that you get within that for your hero. So it kind of gives you these like wacky combinations that appear in comics a lot, and you have to kind of justify them. And that's part of the fun with that as well. But also like I think a big part of it is, all right, well, thematically, what is going to fit? You know, if I'm playing a superhero game, like where people are playing henchmen and superheroes and superpowers are a thing, I kind of want the theming to kind of fit that. Same way goes with horror. Like if I want death to be a big part of this, it should be a grittier system. But it all kind of depends, I think. Rachel, do you have anything to say on that?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like with Sagas, for example, that one I knew I was going to do the system first, so I developed the story afterwards. And the thing about Sagas, like just to plug that system for a minute, it is a series and setting agnostic, or setting and genre agnostic system. That's what Sagas means. So it very much was like, I can do anything with this. So, we put it into our Patreon, like a couple different themes that I was kind of looking to chase, and then they voted on an interdimensional bazaar. And I went, bet. And so I developed from there. Because the thing about like an interdimensional bazaar is that you could really have anything happen. But ultimately because the system, like, it's very, you can kind of flavor anything however you want, which is about like what the system is. So putting it in that setting that was so like amorphous, kind of gave me a lot of freedom to decide like what I wanted to do with it. And ultimately, like the core of the narrative ended up just being the mystery itself and developing that. But like all of the flavor and floof around it was kind of where the theming kind of came into place. So yeah, it can kind of depend. I don't think there's really a wrong or right way to do anything.
Do you notice people playing similar characters, like the human players gravitating towards certain?
I'm always playing myself.
Are you always the Batman, or
that is?
Well, now we did a joke in like Power in the Dark. We did like one of our like intros. We were doing like self roast or something like that, and I forget what the quote is. But like, I was like, I always play myself. Like, I was like, hey, I'm a lot better at it now. Like my character progression or development has gotten better, but I don't know. I don't think we have that kind of thing with our players.
I think there are certain tropes that some of us fall into. Like, I know I tend to fall into the, like, worrywart kind of trope with both Elmer and Matthias. It's not always the case, but, like, sometimes it ends up happening, depending on what it is.
Yeah, I think it kind of is, like, a vibe of, like, how you're feeling for the time. Because, like, right now, I mean, out in and outside of RP Jesters, actually, because the character I'm playing currently in Blood on the Reeds is a skeptic character, and I hadn't played a skeptic character before. In another show, I also play on Folk and Myth here on Twitch, and I played a character on one of their shows where I was a skeptic. And I was like, ooh, this is tasty. I'm going to bring this into RP Jesters. And then I'm playing another skeptic on another show, and I'm like, okay, I gotta, like, find a new hat for my next character. But yeah, so like right now I'm in my skeptic phase. Like later I'll be in my like serious phase. I don't know, like we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I think we're all in our skeptic era right now.
Yeah,
right now in particular, it's a good time for it.
Yeah.
Or counterpoint, new sincerity in autonomous communes that will arise in the rubble of the empire. That is, we can see it falling in slow motion, anime style, outside our windows. In the meantime, y'all are producing so much AP. Who has time for all that? So, Chris, would this be a good time to do some spoilers for the upcoming season of RP Jesters and why it's so important to the two of us particularly?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I don't want to take it away from Casey and Rachel here. So, if would y'all be interested in introducing a little crossover that's happening?
Casey,
yeah.
go.
So,
Casey, you take it.
I met Wythe through a RPG event in New York, and we got to talking. Obviously, with him being a game developer and all of that, and me being an AP producer, connections were made, and we found out that, a brand new game is going to be coming out on Kickstarter, created by both Wythe and Chris here. And it is called Danse Macabre, and we are going to be running it on RP Jesters in a show that is going to be called Lost Requiem.
Oh, Lost Requiem is
love-
so good. We actually hadn't heard the title, so this is you're hearing it first.
Dropped for you guys.
We're hearing it first.
And it's perfect.
Here, folks.
If you haven't heard of Danse Macabre, it's Chris's game. Chris is creating it. I'm just editing it. Our company's publishing it, but it's Chris's game, and it's all about the heart is really song. So I think Requiem is great. Is kind of the key word there.
Beautiful choice.
No, that's exciting. Yeah.
So we are very excited about it. The game system as a whole, I love the world building that was put into this overall. I mean, you can probably talk a little bit more about that specifically. I love how much like actual history is there. It's a little overwhelming as somebody who's not at all a history buff, but so if you hear stuff from our show that is not at all like historical or even geographically correct, that's because I am not that history buff.
But it's creative.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
We don't grade AP on this show. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't grade AP. There's no value judgments on AP here. But also, it's the game is written to be played with little to zero historical knowledge in mind. So, take creative license with it as you will. I think it'll be okay.
And Chris, speaking of the game setting, maybe can you give us a quick recap? I know many people who are joining us on stream may have heard, but
Sure.
What is Danse Macabre Medieval Horror Role-Playing, the new upcoming game that you've been working on forever, and we're finally publishing? It looks super great. We have Anthony Grasso doing the design, and of course, the whole team, is involved with writing and kind of building it out in various little ways. But Chris, it's really your book, main book, and we have now a couple other companion volumes planned. So what is the game that, and then we'll ask maybe Casey and Rachel how much they can say. I don't know. We don't want spoilers, but maybe we can do sort of you lead us up and then RP Jesters can tell us how do you bring a game to life? Just take us through the steps, right? Does that make sense?
That makes sense. That sounds great. So Danse Macabre, let me put on my narrator voice real quick. Danse Macabre is set in 1390 Constantinople, 60 years after an event known as the Abandonment, which is when death ceased to work the way that it's supposed to. Whenever people die, they are revived within a few hours with dangerous and strange mutations that are called maleficia. And the only thing that can reset the natural order of life and death is this kind of mysterious energy called quintessence, which can be found in artifacts and things that were made before the time of the abandonment. So player characters take on the role of pilgrims who are essentially conscripted workers who are sent out from the safety of Constantinople into the wilderness to try to survive and find as much quintessence as they can.
And quintessent artifacts you can sing at, and when you sing at them, they glow. That's how you know.
Yeah,
that's how we know that there's quintessence. So
yes, you have to perform.
Yes,
not physically as a player. You don't have to sing, but.
Don't tempt me with a good time.
Rachel is for sure going to sing.
I absolutely will. Oh my God, do I have an opportunity to write music again?
You can. I mean, you should work with Josh because Josh is already pumping out music for us. So
that's a really good idea, actually. It just started. Excuse me. For our Vampire the Masquerade game, Midnight Gravity, I played a character who was a musician, so I started writing music for the show. Commitment. Yeah. So now, so I think I'm going to do it with this too. If I have some time.
I love it. Yeah, I can give you some references of like Hildegard von Bingen music and
heck yeah.
All that good stuff. But with all of that, I to White's question earlier, I am curious, like, what does the creative process look like from here? Because Danse Macabre, it runs off of the grit system, but it does have a very strong kind of like narrative loop that's built into it. So I'm curious, Casey, Rachel, how y'all take something like that. And, no spoilers. I want people to listen to the show and get all the narrative, generative goodies that come out, of course. But still, when you have a game or a system that has a very strong narrative loop, how do you kind of play with that on the stream?
For me, like for this game specifically, like not getting too much into it, I really wanted to focus in on like what it means to live in a world where these mechanics are the thing, like where death no longer exists in the same way, how do people react to it? Because people are going to react differently. Obviously, like it seems like in most of the cities and everything like that, people are hoarding the quintessence because they want to be able to pass on and move on. But not everybody is going to feel the same way about it. And I think the narrative that this is going to kind of follow is like how people are reacting to this and what is actually happening outside the safety of these walls. And I want it to be like a very like human story too, actually, just because like it's kind of zombie-ish in a way with the way that, you know, the Maleficia add up and eventually you kind of lose yourself to it. So it kind of has that zombie trope of like, you know, what are people doing in this moment? Because those are the best kind of zombie stories or stuff like, you know, the Walking Dead or The Last of Us, where it's about the people that are still here. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the kind of the hordes of people that you mentioned who have died too many times and lost their humanity. They're called demoniacs in the game. But yeah, they're kind of, it's kind of more of like a background radiation kind of thing. Like it's an ever-present danger, but it is more about like, what individual actors do in that situation and the kind of, very human narratives that can emerge from that pressure that comes from the danger of it all.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, a lot of, like, especially with the way that Casey develops games, it's a lot about having the characters kind of together first. And, like, we're still kind of developing what our characters are, especially as we're coming out of this last game. And just based on what I know and understand about the game, like, I kind of have these two character concepts that I'm kind of playing with, especially with music being a part of it. I'm kind of seeing like a character that's either very like, boisterous and flamboyant, in terms of like their like, I don't know, just like you were saying, like the quintessence glows when, you know, they're singing. So like kind of like being more like, I don't know, like flamboyant and kind of like glamorous and like, you know, that kind of like forward character. But then I also have this idea of a character that's more kind of like, shut in and like kind of quiet and just very afraid of the world and like really struggling to like interact with it. I mean, I feel like those are very like opposite ends, but I'm kind of still deciding like where I actually want to land. Because as much as I think problems can be present in both aspects. I think if you're going with somebody that's more quiet, it's kind of like creating the obvious problems, which is just like getting out and doing things and kind of what that internal struggle presents itself as a character that struggles with taking action, versus a character that's more forward and like what kind of problems do they get into thinking that they're too confident and can handle something that they really can't. So, you know, those are like the two things that I kind of feel like maybe I'm vibing with for characters for this.
I can't wait to see which direction you take it in. I think either works. You know, it's a dangerous world, and you can either be bold or you can be shy about it. But yeah, I think it makes sense to be a little shy, especially since it's typically like your first time out of the city into this dangerous wilderness.
Yeah. It is interesting kind of being like almost like forced into that situation when you're somebody who doesn't really want to take control. So I think that's like, it's interesting. Like for me, when I approach characters in a general sense, at least recently, I found that, just having a normal person first, like what is a person like first, and then developing like what their problems are, is where I find the most interesting narratives or the most interesting internal conflict. I'm a very big stakes player. I'm a very big, like, cause me trouble player. I'm a very big mud eater, if you know, you know. So I like to get down in the dirt, and I like to fucking just what are the problems? What can I put my character through that's like the most that doesn't have to be the most traumatic, but the most the most, I don't know how to describe it other than that. Huh?
Driving.
Yeah, but it's like, it's like, yeah, driving a character to their breaking point, and what do they do at the time of everything being terrible? Like, do you crumble? Do you get back up and keep going? What does that look like? How does it affect the narrative? How does it affect the people around you, the other players or the NPCs? Thanks, Jim.
We got people in the chat who know.
You got fans. Yeah, no, I think it's always fun to see what happens in a dangerous situation, which is kind of every RPG. Like, oh, my character's what did you say? Non-magical, nearly 100-year-old elf who now must leave the seclusion of the glade, whatever. But especially it's heightened when there's like literally an apocalypse. There's a revelation of a new world, the death of the old, and in this game, it's very literally it's like a zombie apocalypse type thing, but with Chris's unique kind of spin on these sort of, if you haven't seen Chris's art, you really got to see it. I know this will be a podcast, but you got to go check out.
Thank you.
Check out the game. It reminds me at least of like Berserk and kind of the best of that genre of kind of the medieval horror sort of manga. So I think that, when that happens, like you're saying, like in Walking Dead, people get tested and they step up, they freak out. And so I think it's fun to give yourself a challenge. Maybe, Rachel, part of what you're getting at, or ask a question, is this what you're getting at? You don't even know, right? You don't know how you'll react. So you're going to make a character who's kind of normal, and then you're in a scary situation. Presumably, Casey will not have the adventure be like, I don't know, go do something like, just go like, wash that wall. Okay, yeah, you did. You gained a level. Presumably there'll be...
Congratulations.
And you'll have to decide what your character does.
Die.
Yeah.
New Maleficia.
Yeah. Oh, you fell down. You're dead. Come back. Yeah.
Oh, that nail chip did 30 points of damage. You're going to have to roll D100 for New Maleficia.
Yeah, I mean, no, you don't know what's going to happen. Like, for me, that's the beauty of actual plays. Like, I when I go and talk to my normie friends about like my podcast, I just say it's an improv audio drama because that's what it is. Like, everything that's coming up, no one knows how it's going to end. We can have like, direction and we can have goals, but the means of attaining those goals are never set in stone because, I mean, you're dealing with at our table three other perspectives, that you can't predict. You can assume, but kind of in the same way that, like, if you were going on a hike with your friends, you would assume that we would stay on the trail, but of course you have your one wild friend that wants to run down into the lake, that's off trail, and you're like, well, do I follow him? I guess, like, here we go. You're never gonna be able to, like, fully decide, but that's what's so beautiful. And that's where I think, like, having players that can naturally create conflict with each other too, like in addition to the world. Are you kidding me? Like, yes, give it to me. Like, delicious. Yeah.
So that kind of answers a question that I had. And again, no value judgments about AP. There's no wrong way to do it. But I was curious, and maybe Casey, as someone who's GM'd the show a little bit more, you can speak to this, but like, is it largely improv? Are there parts of it that's on rails? Kind of like, what does your planning process look like? And what does it look like when you sit down at the table and actually kind of figure out what's happening?
I think when it comes to doing shorter stories that are in like these 10 episode series that we've been doing lately, you need a little bit of rails. Whether that's, like we're doing with Blood on the Reeds, where we need to get off this island and there's not really a way to do. There's like one way that we can do that. Like, you get that final goal there, and how you get there doesn't matter, but we need to get to the end, right? And I'm still debating what I want that final goal to be for Lost Requiem. I have like 2 ideas for it. Whether I want it to be a little bit more, pilgrims doing their thing, or something a little bit more special, that like these pilgrims are chosen for a very specific task. I haven't made that decision yet. it's not really going to change much in the story, just the narrative and the purpose overall. But again, there's going to be several different ways of doing that. And yeah, there's going to be like specific locations that are probably going to get hit because you have to have something. But what happens at those locations can always vary. I usually plan like and write at least like 3 different paths that they could probably go, and they never go to any of them. So I don't know why I do that. They usually end up making their own by the end of it.
Said every GM ever for all time.
Yeah. I was just going to say,
why won't
you to write it down
as rational actors? Why won't it's GMs and economists are the exact same? Like you're Charlie Brown and Lucy keeps setting up the football, and every fucking time we're like, yeah, this time humans will behave rationally as no, they did. Fuck me. Yeah, it's great. Part of the joy.
Yeah.
Casey, how do you deal with that? Do you have like tricks? Do you feel like it's just practice, improv, or is there a certain sense in which you...
It's definitely practice. I mean, for me, I'm an actor. I was in an improv troupe in college, which I haven't done much like actual improv outside of, running RPGs, which I do like in several different locations. Including
Casey does a lot of
work.
improv.
Yeah, with that kind of
you
stuff.
do.
For
It's
sure.
a lot of improv.
Just admit it. Just admit it.
I do so much improv. I just don't have any shows you can go see. Like in a theater, you can obviously go see the RP Jesters.
There you go.
But yeah, like I think it's a lot of improv. It's knowing like the setting that you have people in, so you know like how the people in that place are going to react. I'm very much a proponent of actions have consequences. Like if you want to do dumb shit, I'm happy to let you do dumb shit, but you might get slapped in the face. So like I'm totally happy to vibe with that. I think like when it comes to running an AP specifically, having a heads up from players being like, hey, this is kind of the idea that I have going on, so we can like get a bigger story beat in for everybody is huge. And I think that goes for non-APs as well. Like having those conversations with your GM is always going to be helpful. If you're like, hey, this is where I know I'm starting, this is where I kind of want to end, like can we get to that point? Which doesn't always happen, but like you can usually see it through their role play, like what they're kind of looking for. But yeah, it's a lot of improv when stuff goes off the rails.
Yeah, I love that though. I think that's really good at GMing advice and game design advice that can be built into games to some degree is arcs and not being afraid of arcs. In the same way, we're obviously not afraid of tropes. To the earlier conversation of Legolas and Bat People. It's like you can also have arcs. You can be like, I'm going to be the guy who like dies horribly. I don't know how yet, but I'm going to like sacrifice myself, And I feel like I've seen that even if you call it, you like Babe Ruth point at it, it's still surprising. It's still shocking when it happens.
And it can still be memorable too. Like that's happened on a few of our shows as well. Yeah. Like there have been heroic sacrifices on some of our shows. I'm not going to tell you which ones, so you have to listen to them and find it out. But there definitely have been. So it's always nice to see that, even if it is a trope, like it's still satisfying. It's a trope for a reason.
Yeah.
I want to just butt in and speak on that, like communication at a table. I think it's like so underutilized, like just being able to jump above table and be like, guys, this is what I want to do. Like, I think we kind of forget sometimes, especially with like, actual plays, like our show is edited. We have things taken out. So like the seamlessness of the show is not the recording. It's an illusion. So I feel like especially now there's a lot of like, your D&D game we have to be a voice actor and we have to perform, and it's like, no, like we are literally 12 years old in the backyard playing pretend, and this is the part where you go, okay, so like I want to do this thing where I'm going to use this electric bolt and like you're going to react like I shocked you. Like, do you remember that? Like that was all part of the pretend that we used to do. We used to tell each other what we wanted to do and what was going to happen. Okay, you're going to shock me, and then I'm going to like redirect it like Avatar, and it's going to go to the swing set and electrocute that instead. Like, that still applies to this stuff. Like, and you can talk that out and be like, and go, and then you narrate it as if it's happening. but you have the mutual consent, you have everyone happy with what's going on. Like, you can apply that to these games. It doesn't have to be,
you're
doing this!
There's definitely something to be said as well as a GM, letting your players do descriptions. Like, letting them, giving them the ball, and letting them describe what they want it to look like. Whether that's, an attack that they're doing, like, that has very little consequence to how it looks, or whether it's, like, building on your world. Let them build on your world.
Yeah, 100%. And I would say, and again, this is stuff we're still writing. Chris is writing the book. But I really think Danse Macabre would benefit from everyone adding to the historical research, quote unquote, by which I mean, like, quickly Wikipediaing, like, I don't know, what's a thing that would happen? Oh, okay, I'll just, I found a good name. I found a good plant that would be here. Like, anyone can do that. And if it's not on the GM to be the storyteller, and also in the case of any real game, it wouldn't just be ours, but you could imagine Delta Green, it's the same. It's like, well, what force loadout would a Marine sniper have? I don't know, whatever, how Delta Green works. Anyone can Google that shit and be like, I don't know, the name of this brand is blah. And I think that's a fun thing. I think you've stumbled on two really good pieces of advice there, or actually several. Rachel was mentioning being open to sort of surprising yourself with your arc. Casey, you're emphasizing talking across the table, and Rachel, you added to that, having arcs between and among the characters, and then having the players be able to jump in and add to that. Take it back to some of your other shows, are there any really good moments that were very surprising that jumped to mind, where like one of the players said or did something really random, but it like everyone went with it and it like made it better?
I mean, yes, but it is spoilers for Hench, so I don't know if I want to spoil that.
Not that one. That one's a big one.
That is a big one.
Maybe an old one, because Hench was recent. So maybe like an older one that if you're scrolling, right, you're going to get to Hench immediately.
I think I'm thinking of Power in the Dark.
Our first show.
I'm thinking of when we had this mission to go get something from a tree, the big tree city.
Oh yeah.
And one of the characters, Snowfrid, died. Basically, like through the sacrifice, and we had to like go and like it was like we did mission failed. Like
they full mission failed that one.
Full mission failure. Never got into the like. I remember we were talking about it in case it was like, yeah, there was a lot of stuff in there, and we just didn't do anything because we had to just full tactical retreat to like save Snowfrid. Like that. Like that's one of the things where it was like, we all, the plan, we had a plan. We had some semblance of a plan, but we had some kind of plan, and it just did not pan out the way that we were expecting.
That's rad.
With that too, like Rachel was saying, like there was a lot of stuff there. I'm not gonna not let you have the stuff eventually. It's just you gotta find a different place to get it, or a different way to get it. Because I think that also comes to that improv aspect of like, okay, well, they can't get that information this way now, and they need to have that information to move the plot forward. So we just got to figure out where we're going to put it.
Yeah, having those branching pathways to success, but not limiting yourself to just one makes a lot of sense.
I definitely will say I don't want to go back and look at my notes for that show because I'm sure it's a mess.
Just like question mark?
Yeah,
bigger question
every
mark?
Every page is just giant scribbled question marks. Like, what is that?
FML.
It was a new Google Doc for every episode, and there were like 76 episodes of that show.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Dang.
I'm thinking...
I can't count that high, so that's impressive.
I'm thinking of another thing that was less like plot important, but in Delta Green, I remember we were in the middle of like trying to gain information by investigating a location, and the character Red just kind of like went off on a different like direction and like started talking to the person that we were hiding from or something like that. Do you remember that, Casey? That was when we were in the, I don't know if it was a morgue or like...
I think it was the morgue, yeah.
The morgue. And like we're trying to be stealthy. And like, Red just goes and like talks to we're like, what are you doing?
Yep.
And it's like, and you, again, it's like an unpredictable moment where you're just like, okay, well now, like, how is that going to play out between the characters? Like, we were upset. Like, it was like, but it was all cool and like at the table, but like, it just created this like narrative, like, and we had something similar happen actually in Blood on the Reeds too.
Episode 1, yeah.
Episode 1, yeah. A character like
Seth.
We're not same character or same player, I should say.
Same player.
We're
so
not
there are
cops,
through lines.
We swear.
Yeah. There are some.
There always are. We're not cops, we swear. And then like we're a cop. It's like, okay, well, great.
Well, you see it
yeah,
so many
definitely...
times. Oh, go ahead.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just gonna say definitely surprising actions that you kind of just got to deal with.
Yeah. I think you see it so many times. I keep on thinking about your example of going on a hike earlier, Rachel.
Yeah.
Where it's like, yeah, you have these kind of pathways that you're going down, but then like someone makes a decision and everybody has to deal with it. You see that all the time at TTRPG tables. So I appreciate that you honor that at your table.
Because what are you going to do? Like, that's the beauty of these recordings. Like, you know, and honestly, like for me, like, I was having a conversation with someone actually, in terms of the, LARP aspect. I just went to Darkness Immersion a couple weeks ago in LA, but, we were having a conversation which applies to TTRPGs is like, you have people who are like the play to win people. And then you have the people that are like play to fail. And it's like play to adapt. Play to make a narrative, like those kinds of, they're the like either theatrical based or just people that just kind of see that there's more fun in causing problems for yourself, which I find very true. And I am one of those people. I am 100% like cause problems. I love it.
Yeah. There's like players who act, players who solve problems, and players who blow up things.
Yeah.
They're not mutually exclusive, right? There's Venn diagrams.
They're not. No, of course not. Of course not. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong too with playing to win. Like, I think there's definitely like people that love the numbers, love the crunch, love to like, I want to max my character. I want to, and you know, I want to like have the most powerful, blah, blah, blah. And that really depends, like having like a DM that's gonna like, I'm gonna make you guys something, you know, fucking hard to fight. So, you know, pull out the stops. Like, you know, we're here for it. But I think those are entirely different stories than like what you see from a lot of actual play specifically, because combats like those can go on forever.
They drag.
And maybe there's a show for that. Maybe there's a show for that where it's literally just combat. Like, we're just, here's the tactics, here's the play, like, this is what we're going to do, how we're, like, God, what is that word? There's an E word that I keep exacting. That's not the word. Adjudicating? That's not it. Whatever. Doing. I don't know. I've been trying to find this word for like 3 weeks. Don't entertain me. Anyway.
That's staying in.
But either way. Yeah. Thanks. So much for edited. Anyway. Executing. I think that's the word. Yes. Thanks chat. Yeah, executing. Yes. How are we executing this plan, right? So, I think there's a world for that, but you're gonna find in a lot of actual plays that it's more about the narrative, and it's more about the, like, 3 and out rule and Vampire the Masquerade or other similar systems that kind of streamline conflict to get back to the story.
Nice.
Wow, I'm impressed with how I brought that back around.
Brought it back around. You got it.
I have ADHD, so that's like a task.
Check it out.
Well, I look forward to Danse Macabre in part because it is an apocalypse, and it's a very philosophical one. And we've talked about, Chris, other times, like kind of our loves of like things like Tarkovsky, these kind of philosophical sci-fi stories. And I think Danse Macabre is kind of zone. Yeah, it's ultimately about a place and a time, you know, an event so weird. Who knows if it's going to subside? Maybe there is some meta narrative. Maybe someone figures it out, but we're we're not going to say. But I think, you can easily have kind of OSR dungeon crawl adventures with typical stakes. But because it's like, wait, no one can die? Wait, everyone eventually becomes a mutant? I mean, it really is. It's like the Walking Dead logic of like, well, then I can just do whatever the fuck I want. There are no rules. And so I'm curious to see how the different player alignments, will kind of run with that as you all start in this earnest place and are kind of doing the improv together over, as you're saying, like, a limited number of episodes, Casey. Like, you have to keep it to kind of an arc of some kind. So it could go really weird and philosophical. It could stay pretty OSR-ish. We don't know. Chris and I don't know, and I don't think either of y'all. Casey would know the most, but
I mean,
don't tell us.
Yeah, I still don't know that much. Like, again, it's going to be dependent on what the players are going to interact with and how they're going to interact with the other people that are, in the story, and how they interact with each other. Because one of the things that I tend to do is, I'll outline what I think the arc is going to be. And then my detailed notes are written before each episode where I'm like, okay, this is the things that have changed. These are the things that are interesting and people have latched onto. So we're going to bring those back. That way, like, I still have my arc and I can still get us there, but I'm focusing on different things.
Yeah. And
I feel like I do that as a GM. Oh, yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say, and looking specifically at like the players' desires for their own characters and for the overall
because I have
narrative.
no idea who they're playing yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just got insight into my character, maybe.
Oh.
Well, one of two.
I play a whole third character that I didn't even discuss here.
That is entirely possible.
You could do a whole third character that's just a combination of the first two. Maybe like there are times when they're very brash. There are times when they're very shy. And it just, it's maybe that can be unpredictable in its own way.
The brashness
Chris,
is all a mask.
This is like adaptation. It's like one person who's pretending to be their opposite. Yeah, it's like really confusing. It
could be adaptation. It could be the book Fight Club, not the movie.
Sure. Well, that's great. Do we have other questions, substantive or otherwise, for the RP Jesters?
I was going to say, I was curious just before we let y'all go. Sometimes we ask folks, especially designers, for like kind of practical tips on their process and things like that. But I'm curious, like, what's your pipeline look like for producing an episode? Obviously, like, you got to write it, right? You got to play it. You got to see what happens. But then what happens after kind of like the stage lights go down from that point?
Yeah, so for us, we try and maintain recording ahead of time. That way we have enough time to get everything done and everything like that. Although how much we have backlogged is always variable, depending on time frame and everything like that. But basically, after an episode's recorded, we have basically two people mainly editing our show right now, myself and Sky, where I do the first like rough cut of it, basically going through, taking out, like we were talking about earlier, the small bits that were like, oh, so here's kind of what I'm thinking, cutting out some of the stuff that kind of breaks the narrative flow and all of that. We will definitely keep in talking about the system and how this works within the system, because we know that audiences, want to learn a little bit about what's going on and how that game works and everything. But yeah, taking out some stuff, making sure that there's less people talking over each other so it's a little bit more palatable to listen to. And then once I'm done my pass, it goes over to Sky, who then does equalizing and sound design, which is phenomenal. Like when you get music that really fits or sound effects that like really put you in that place, especially for something that is audio only, it really does make a difference there. And then there's like other stuff involved with producing, including like our cover art, getting that done. Andrew is our artist, also one of the players on our show, one of the cast members, and he's been doing phenomenal art for us. And then, casting guests and everything like that, because we're trying to have more guests on our show. So there's like a lot of other stuff that kind of gets done in between shows. Like we're in the middle of casting Lost Requiem now. We might have an extra guest spot that we're trying to figure out. But yeah, there's kind of a lot that goes into it.
Very excited for all of it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah, and
excited for guests.
Like you said, big ups to Sam. I think y'all definitely have some of the best sound design of our
Sky?
local.
Yeah.
Sky. So sorry, Sky.
Yeah.
Please don't be mad at me,
Sky's
Sky.
offended.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine.
Rolling over in his bed somewhere.
I will say, like, our sound design has fluctuated who's been doing it. We had another sound designer who was Mike, who got a little bit too busy.
In the chat.
Yeah. Is Mike in the chat? Mike in the chat.
Hey.
But like we've had a couple of people in our editing seat. Sky is the one who's currently doing it. So if you're listening to Blood on the Reeds right now, like that is Sky's sound design.
Well, I liked the editing, the audio engineering, and I also liked with Hench, for example, the attention to time and character development, but it was also short, which some AP is great, but it's like 17,000 hours later, they gain a level. And it felt like the format you've hit on has been really nice to showcase different games, but still have that depth. It actually matches well. I think, Chris, we've talked a lot about this, but sort of medium crunch, medium length, like replayable games, but you don't have to play a campaign for years. You can play 3, 6, 9 times and have an awesome kind of character arc and then say, okay, we want to try something else. So I think it'll be really fun to see what you do with Danse Macabre and to find time to go back and listen to more of your back catalog.
It's one of the things too, I will say, like with playing shorter games, like something to speak on about that. If you're playing a longer game, scheduling is always like the biggest pain for anyone doing an RPG. So if you're committed to a long game, you're not trying a lot of games because most people only have the time to play like at most one a week, if not one twice a month, you know?
Yeah, once a week is generous.
Right. That's why we have a podcast, so we get to play once a week.
Yeah, that was
brilliant.
That was actually a thing in our development too, because when we were doing our first game, like we intended, Power in the Dark wasn't supposed to be as long as it was, but it ended up just kind of going because it's just how long the narrative took. So it was really smart. Like I think we were coming up to our Christmas break, and then we were like, what if we did a season break? And we went, okay. And then it was like, cool, season break, then we can do a short and then return to our longer one. Which I think has been like a really cool move in terms of getting the different games in, but then also having a long running narrative might be something we return to at some point. Right now we're just kind of sticking with the short stuff because it just, we're just able to kind of explore more.
Yeah, and I will say we're not done with long form. I have a long form game that I have been cooking on, but it's going to take me a long time to plan it because it is probably the biggest project that we have ever taken on.
Give it to us, Casey.
Do I give a hint to it?
Yeah, give us a hint.
Yeah,
Why not?
Give us a hint. Give us a hint, Casey.
It is going to be. I won't give away too much.
No,
but it is going to be a show that involves having 2 alternating casts that record every other week.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
really love
exciting.
that.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting.
So it's going to take a lot of juggling, but it'll be worth it for sure.
Are not super well produced, but in that standard, but I think very fun story-wise. Miniature AP arc we did for our book Kadita, the one big expansion to Stillfleet the RPG, which is the kind of spy Cold War setting. We had 2 teams, one sent to kill a guy and one sent to stop them from killing a guy, and we didn't tell them at first, and so we were just doing alternating tapings, and it was very funny when they realized they all kind of knew each other from the server, oh, wow, I see what's happening here. And we had different GMs. It was great. So I think doing that at large scale with high production is like chef's kiss. I want to listen to that. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Neither can I.
We do have a question in the chat. I believe this is from Mike. And it is a callback to earlier question for Casey. Have they put more air holes in your recording closet?
Not as of yet, Mike. I think you have the last review on Apple Podcasts. That was 5 stars. So, guys, give us a review, 5-star review, and we'll get more air holes for me. So I can keep making games and don't
let
die.
Casey breathe.
Let
Casey breathe.
Get that hashtag in. We also
I'm in support of it. Not without the review.
Sam has asked, let's get Casey and Majora to recommend their favorite show in the RPG Jesters catalog of shows. And I think Vex had asked something earlier along similar lines. So maybe we can, as one sort of wrap up question, if each of you had to pick just one thing for us to go check out and listen to, we've talked about a few different things, but does anything jump out?
What's your favorite? What's your favorite?
I'm obsessed with Blood on the Reeds right now.
That is our current game. It's not done yet, though, so...
It's not done. So I'm going to put that aside. I, for the longest time, and I still agree, recommend Into the Whalestrom. That one was so cool. We played Scum and Villainy. I just really love the narrative. I play a Jedi-type character that doesn't want to be a Jedi. Hashtag the sun.
That rules, because you never see, I guess, like, it gets explored. I don't want to get too far into Star Wars because whatever, but you see that explored a little bit, right? Like Obi-Wan Kenobi falls in love, Anakin falls in love. There's like these moments, but you never see a Jedi who's just like, God, this sucks. What are we doing? Like,
that's because they all turn Sith.
There you go.
The unexplored backstory of that was that my character came from a very like Tatooine-esque kind of planet where anyone who showed signs of being a Jedi were like destined for greatness and like elevated, and she was this very like edgy, like stay the fuck away from me, I don't want and like would kind of like hide it and like
the savior.
Yeah, and like awesome. Literally like rejects it the whole time. Like, I'm not chosen. I'm not. Stay away. Back off. So that was really fun to play. But
I mean, for my recommendation, I would say if you're looking for something on the darker side compared to the Into the Whalestrom, which is a little bit more lighthearted, you could check out our Delta Green game, which is called
Operation
Frozen Dark.
We just called it Delta Green
for the most part, yeah. But it's technically titled Operation Frozen Dark, which has a phenomenal ending to it. Great narrative description, because that's something Sky is phenomenal at as a GM, is narrative description. And then I'm also going to plug Hench, just because that also has a phenomenal ending.
Hench is like unreasonably good. Like it was a great show, but like we did not expect it to end the way it did, and it was just like so good. Like,
hell yeah!
Honestly, I think one of the most satisfactory endings we've ever experienced in any of our shows.
I really enjoyed Hench. I listened to it at my day job and had to like stop a lot of real work and pause and be like, hold on, I have to figure out what I have to listen to this. I have to listen to this actually important thing, not whatever we're doing. Yeah, it was great. All right, well, we covered a lot of terrain. Chris, any last questions before we let the RP jesters jest on into the night?
My last question is the same one I have every time, really, Wythe, is where, Casey, Rachel, where can we find RP Jesters? How can we best support you? How can we get more air holes in Casey's recording closet? What are your pluggables?
You want to start, Rachel?
Like just in terms of like the podcast itself. RP Jesters. We're at RP Jesters all over the internet, on all the different social medias. We mostly update our Instagram and Threads right now. We're getting on Blue Sky again. We're doing it. I swear. We're working on our social media presence. But that's where you can find us, in terms of social media and stuff. And then of course, wherever you listen to podcasts, RP Jesters. We keep all of our shows on one streamline, so if you're following RP Jesters, you're following all of our content. Of course, if you specifically want to put more air holes in Casey's closet, leave us a 5-star review wherever, but apparently we're tracking Apple Podcasts specifically
the one
right
that's
now.
Easiest to search.
But you can also do it, all over Spotify, wherever. Anywhere you see a star, give it 5 or 10 if it asks for 10. I mean, just try to give it 10 anyway. Give it 5 twice. That's 2 air holes for Casey.
You can make multiple accounts.
Just max that shit out.
Sock puppeting,
Exactly.
You
can also support us through Patreon. We do have a Patreon page. You can get access to our Discord, our bonus content, which we should be having a bonus content with these two as well for our RP Jesters, where we have
that's right.
Game developers, usually for shows that we've been doing. So you can check us out on Patreon there. You can also go to our website where we have a bunch of merch, so you can get your own hench shirt. Join the crew of Dr. Wrath with your own shirt.
It's a really good logo. It's also
a
like
great logo.
a crazy
Seth did
great
that
logo. So good.
But yeah,
corroborating, very good
there.
logo.
And also, I should mention as well, we do have a live show coming up. So in July 29th at Sip and Play in Brooklyn. Be there, be square. I believe we have.
We're celebrating Casey's birthday.
Yeah, my birthday's the next day.
Oh wow!
And it is narratively relevant.
Ooh. Wait, that makes you... Does that put you in Leo because that's real?
I am a Leo, yeah.
Gotcha.
Nice. Well, everyone check out at RP Jesters and buy a shirt, leave a 5-star rating, and check out the show on July 29th at Sip and Play. Also, if you haven't, maybe follow along with our project, Danse Macabre, Medieval Horror Role-Playing by Christopher Pickett. The third full game from the Grit system, the third full game from our company, the Stillfleet Studio. And Chris, I know you've been working on it for quite some time, so really fun to bring another sort of sweetheart project to life across now multiple books. It's getting wild. We're looking up. I'm looking up cemeteries in Paris 1,000 years ago. Yeah. All right. So with that, Rachel, Kordell, Casey, Reardon, thank you so much for joining us. Any quick last words?
Follow RP Jesters. Listen to our show. Bam, 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 bam.
Check out all of our different shows too, guys. We got a lot of great content out there. So as much as we love Blood on the Reeds, we got a bunch of other stuff if you're caught up. So feel free to check everything
out. And check out The Last Requiem when it comes out.
Yes, that should be coming out in July 21st, I believe. It should be the date that starts airing.
Nice.
Excellent.
July 21st.
Mark it in your calendars.
Yeah, mark it in your calendars. And we'll have all the links for everything that we've mentioned down in the show notes.
Thanks so much for asking questions and commenting and being goofs in the chat. And thanks for listening on the pod later if you're listening on the pod later. Thanks to anyone who supports the show on Patreon. Yeah, you can give us a good review too. We will breathe air either way. I think Chris and I believe that workers should have access to air. So, different air philosophy.
Air is good.
But yeah, please.
Air is better than no air.
I like and subscribe. All right, I'm going to click end stream. Thanks so much, Rachel and Casey. RP Jesters rocks. Thanks to everybody in the chat.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to Why We Roll.
Our theme music is by the brilliant Sam Tyndall and Arpline.
If you enjoyed the show, please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
You can find us on all social media at Stillfleet. You can find out more about Danse Macabre, Stillfleet, and all of our games over at stillfleet.com.
Every hero strikes out on their adventure for a different reason.
To prove myself worthy of my mother's praise.
To write my own story and discover who I really am.
To prove to my family that I am more than they believe me to be.
To revive the god that has chosen me.
But when the fragile balance of the world is in jeopardy, and sinister forces move in the darkness, heroes will be tested, pushed to their limits and beyond. And it will be left to them to determine if they are up to the task. There is a darkness rising. Will they be able to overcome the challenges and meet this evil head-on?
For my god.
For my story.
For my freedom.
For the world.
To restore the balance. Modified Role Season 2, The Chronicles of Erin, a D&D 5e actual play podcast. New season, new characters, new story. Find us on all the usual podcasting apps or at modifiedrole.com.